is that we have one more conference to talk about, and we also did perfect in, and that is the Southeastern Conference. We begin with Ole Miss handling business there on the Palace, on the Prairie, and beat Oklahoma 34-26. Definitely could have put this game away a hell of a lot earlier. Sooner fans definitely disappointed, but kind of not surprised. This is one that we went against the grain. We picked Ole Miss. Oklahoma, as the week was rolling on, they were increasing their line. It was starting at 4.5 and then moved up to 5.5 the last time I checked. But they obviously don't cover and get kind of found out that they are definitely not a legit team. No rushing game whatsoever. Over reliance on John Mateer. That's why they lose to a more legitimate team in Lane Kiffin and his Rebels. Auburn, they go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and survive. They were down at halftime and beat the Razorbacks at the end of the day, 33-24. Arkansas, at least the last time I checked, were favorites. So this is like another one in the Southeastern Conference where we go against the grain and are proven right. Hugh Freeze, I guess, coaching to keep his job. And yeah, this is kind of a game where a lot of people were speculating if he lost it, he would have been axed, and this would have been another job opening. So many so far this season, and we still have a decent amount of football to be played to where we'll see some more openings for high-profile positions. Alabama, they go on the road and survive against South Carolina, 29-22. The Crimson Tide were favored by 11.5. Definitely don't cover, but they do get the win. South Carolina just put up a hell of a fight. Defensively, they were just giving the Crimson Tide a hell of a lot of trouble. They were really ready to storm the field, but Bama just put them away and again continue to be on a roll there in the Southeastern Conference, as it was the first weekend in a while where they didn't have to play a conference opponent that was ranked, which is kind of surprising of, the Gamecocks putting up a decent fight. We keep moving to another one where we got it right. That was Vandy in Nashville hosting Missouri. They win 17-10. We did a nice in-depth review of this game in the beginning of the stream. What we can add on to it is, Diego Pavia in big moments, getting the job done. Missouri, a lot of questions are going to be asked because of the quarterback situation now. And not only did they lose Bo Pipola here in this game, but earlier in the season, week 1, they lost their backup. So they're pretty deep in the depth chart in terms of quarterbacks. We'll see how they end their season, as it was looking pretty high and now looking pretty low. Texas, they survive in Starkville against Mississippi State. They have to go to overtime to beat the Bulldogs 45-38. It looked like a game like others this past weekend where I was like, man, how is this team going to dig themselves out of a hole? They do it. They get the job done. And they beat the Bulldogs again 45-38 in cover, as the Longhorns, the last time I checked, were favored by 7 points. The blowout from this past weekend, they're in Death Valley. LSU loses 49-25 to Texas A&M, who get their first win there in Baton Rouge for the first time since 1994. I mentioned that in our preseason videos covering it, and I was like, this most likely will probably happen, and it did. LSU also, as a result of this, get rid of Ryan Kelly, and there's another high-profile job waiting to be filled, and we'll see who gets it, as we'll see where LSU goes with it. The final game to talk about is Tennessee in Lexington to play the Wildcats. They beat Kentucky 56-34. More than cover there. The line was being set for the Volunteers -9. And they proved why that line was being set there. Just super weird. We were talking about it there in the rank section of how Texas, they go to Lexington, have to go overtime. But that's more of like a offensive situation. The Longhorns just not scoring enough points to really have to go to overtime. and just staying alive. And then Tennessee the next week play Kentucky, and they just beat the crap out of them, 56-34 there. The standings for the Southeastern Conference look like this, as I'm queuing up the screens. And here we go. Texas A&M, undefeated overall and also in conference play. They are in pole position to play for an SEC title, maybe for the first time ever. Alabama right behind them. Their only asterisk against them is that they have that one loss against Florida State that everyone is already forgetting about. Who cares if the Seminoles beat Alabama? If they replayed today, Alabama would blow them out, hands down, no question about it. Georgia, they only have one loss, still in the race, obviously losing to Alabama earlier this season. Not good. They kind of have to rely on, A&M falling or Bama later this season. When you think about it, Crimson Tide, they really just have LSU, who are now going to be without Brian Kelly, so they most likely win that game. They have Auburn. Hugh Freeze is coaching for his job. If he beats Alabama at the end of the year, he'll most likely keep his job. So there's a lot of different variables. Georgia, they have Florida this upcoming weekend. Obviously they beat Ole Miss, so that kind of puts them in a decent spot. But again, they're going to have to rely on other teams, and they still have to play Texas, actually, when I think about it. So there's a lot of tests that Kirby Smart and his dogs need to pass to defend their title later on this year. Ole Miss, the nice big win against Oklahoma, but with Georgia kind of beating them already, they're kind of just going to be looking out or looking in from out and kind of getting into that position to be the representative in the Southeastern Conference that will get into the playoff but won't be competing for a conference title. You still have Vanderbilt, one loss there. They still have a few interesting games later on this season. That Tennessee game between them and the Commodores, that is going to be an interesting one. That's going to line up pretty big. And if the Volunteers can pass that test, they can also probably sneak in to maybe that fourth spot, which is this conference is kind of crazy here at the end. It's like you already have so many one-loss teams in conference. They don't have too many losses also outside of the conference. Kind of just losing to their only teams that are, again, in the Southeastern. And then Missouri, Oklahoma, Florida, I would say considered basically eliminated from playing in the title game whatsoever. But at least they'll be playing in a bowl game at the end of the season. Well, maybe not for Florida. They still have to pass a lot of tests. There are only 3 wins so far this season. But yeah, A&M in first place. So we'll see for how much longer. They got Missouri this upcoming weekend. They had the blessing, unfortunately, to say Missouri losing their quarterback. So that might line it up even better to go 9-0. They still got Texas and have to get over that hump. They haven't beat Texas in quite a long time. It's a couple of decades since the Aggies beat the Longhorns. But yeah, those are the standings for the Southeastern Conference. As that we went pretty in depth in a way in talking about all that.